And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next is a very power-packed panel, and we are getting the stage ready for that panel session. While the stage gets set up, I would like to quickly take you through the panel and the important panel members who are going to grace the occasion. So the panel is on securing our organization against identity, trust, and fraud. And we have an esteemed panel of 8 champions of the industry who are going to discuss on this topic. So just stay tuned while the stage gets ready and we start with our panel session. In the meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to quickly highlight a few pointers for all of you. First of all, I see here from the stage a full house audience. So can I have a big round of applause for all of you who have taken out time to come here in full force. Full house audience, and I'm sure the number is going to swell up as we go further in the day because the award ceremony is scheduled at 4 o'clock. Do not miss the 4th Annual India Awards Ceremony, which is going to start at 4 p.m. today to honor the top talents in the industry for their best practices. Also, do take out your time during your busy schedule on the day from networking sessions as well as from the sessions of the panels. And do visit our social media LinkedIn page, which is Sinex Group page. Like and subscribe to the page. If you're already following the page, fantastic. Keep posting about the event. You can post your selfies, you can post your groofies, you can take pictures of the panel sessions, presentation sessions, write your thoughts about this event, take pictures with the networking sessions and the booth, and do use the hashtag, which is India Fraud Risk Summit and Awards 2026, and do tag @Sinex Group in all of the posts. Your post and your likes do help spread the message for this event. So please do actively participate by taking out some time from your busy schedule today and visit our social media post. Also, the page is regularly updated with the latest panel sessions and presentation sessions. So whatever is happening here is live fed into the page as well. So you can go and check the sessions as well and go and check the conversations which happened in case you missed the morning sessions. So now with the stage set, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to take much time, and it's time to introduce the honorable panel members who are going to grace the next 50 minutes with their power pack session. And joining us first, can we have a big round of applause for him, Mr. Pankaj Mohta, Head of Fraud Risk Management from SMFG India Credit. A big round of applause to Pankaj. Welcome to the panel, Pankaj. Please have your seat. Joining next, we have Ms. Sonal Yadav, Zonal Head Vigilance from RBL Finserve Limited. A big round of applause to Ms. Sonal. Welcome to the panel, madam. Please have your seat. Joining next on the panel, we have Mr. Jigar, Vice President Vigilance from IndusInd Bank. A big round of applause to Mr. Ved. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. Joining next on the panel, we have Chatla Prashanth, National Director, Fraud Risk Management, Truhome Finance. A big round of applause to Mr. Prashanth. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. Joining next in the panel, we have Mr. Vijay Malagar, Head of RCU, Tyger Capital. A big round of applause to Mr. Malagar. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. Next, joining this panel, we have Mr. Sanjay Bhagwat, Regional Head, RCU West Zone, Shriram Finance Limited. A big round of applause to Mr. Bhagwat. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. Joining next on the panel, we have Mr. Jagannadha Rao S, Head of Legal from Bandhan Bank. A big round of applause to Jagannadha, sir. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the honorable moderator for this great panel here, Mr. Parag Modi, Chief Business Officer from Bureau. A big round of applause to Mr. Modi. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. So, Parag, sir, full panel, a great panel. I think a wonderful panel of experts here and a full house of audience. I think this is going to be a great session. All over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time today. I was reading a report of 2025 about digital frauds in India. This is recently published. On an average, 2.5 million Indians lost 2,38,000 crores to digital fraud. And the back of hand calculation will tell you it's close to 9.5 lakh per person. So this menace is increasing. Obviously, all the regulatory and other bodies are taking note and they are putting more safeguards. But I have an interesting panel today where not only they'll dwell upon the latest fraud trends or MOs of these fraudsters, but also the data set or variables used to find these anomalies or scam patterns or fraud patterns. And then towards the end, how AI, ML, etc. is being used to investigate, detect, and prevent such frauds. So I think it's a full course meal on fraud today. I'll start with Sanjay. He heads the risk containment unit. If you can highlight some of the fraud trends in banking industry, Sanjay.
Good afternoon, all the people available. Now in banking, if you see 5 or 10 years down the line, all the things were physical, and banks were facing issues related to the document verification, and frauds were happening in physical documents which were submitted to the bank for any reason, maybe account opening or maybe for other loan purposes or anything. Also, before few years, we were using a limited banking channel, the online banking channel. That is, we were using only banking channels for, let's say, transfer of funds, or maybe some downloading the statements. This few things we were using the banking channels, online banking channels. But as technology evolved, we started using banking channels for frequent transfer of money. Now UPI has come. Now we are using UPI. So as compared to the frauds which were happening earlier, now it is moreover the frauds frauds are happening in digital space. That is, although AI is helping us, banks have evolved their systems also. They have come up with the mitigations for mitigations and early identification of the frauds. But as technology is evolving, it is evolving for both the people. It's bank also, and it's to the fraudster also. So fraudsters are also evolving, and they are adopting a newer ways, digital ways to defraud. So my submission here is that as technology is evolving, the frauds are evolving by the digital way. The trend is changing from physical to digital, but yeah, the frauds are still there. Also, with the help of technology and I think AI can provide the limited landscape, because it's a system. It has a predefined mechanism. Few things which still AI can recognize. So human intervention is always required for to combat the frauds. That's what I feel.
Sure. Thanks, Sanjay. We have seen digital arrest, romance scam, employment scam, job scam. Yesterday, I was reading about digital lutera, a new kind of scam which targets the UPI SIM binding process, and of course the AI-based scams.
Yeah, just to add this, few days back only, you might have seen one news regarding the digital arrest case of one of the family in I think north side somewhere. So their son was checking. Their son was there with them while this digital arrest was happening. So he felt something fishy, and then he reported that scam to the police, and then they saved, because somebody was they called him, some fraudster called them and told him that they are in the digital arrest, you cannot move ahead from your home. But their son was observing all those things, and he thought there is something fishy, this should not happen. So he reported that to the police, and then the next thing happened. They lodged a complaint, and then all this history was correct.
Thanks, Sanjay. May I now request Pankaj to share some insight from your experience in retail assets?
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so I think in such meetings, more to the audience, the other crowd is also very interested. Those who basically hunt what we are, lacking yet, and where we can be exploited. Okay. Before coming to the point, the adoption by the fraudster is more faster than the adoption by the financial institution. And that is leading to the frauds. And there are many partners sitting over here, they know it well, how much faster process, right? So Chirag, Parag both knows. What I mean to say basically, listen, we are not fast enough, okay? And it's not like that we are not smart. I always thought that, I have an experience of, say, 20 years, and no one can breach into the system, at least in the PL. I have so much of, expertise. But I would like to quote certain trends which is happening in the market, and everyone, if have faced it, I trust they have built this, their fort around it, or if not, then please listen to me carefully. There have been instances of identity theft through Aadhaar takeover, a new trend which has come up. Okay, so your mobile number has been changed without your consent using the UID ecosystem. Okay, and then there is continuous exploitation using the DigiLocker also. So when I am doing a verification, my first thing is that, okay, if it's coming from a guarded system, I am doing my checks well. But is that enough today? That's a question, right? You cannot rely on the KY system alone. There must be a behavioral associated. There must be a two-factor, third, multiple-factor authentication. There are a lot of data. And to the top of it, there are so many tools. What is more important to know, can we use that tool effectively? Right? People have the tools, but they don't know how they are using it. So that is a specialty, expertise, and relevancy which we should have today to stop the fraud. Just by having the tool is also not good enough, right? So how quickly you adapt to the system, how do you, figure out the pattern, and it's not only through AI. We talk about a lot of AI. AI is good. It will adapt over a period of time. We will be using it, but it's a hybrid model which is working today as of now, whether people accept that or not. Now, again, coming to the trend, there are a lot of news around, I'm just giving an example. If you have heard of, there are a lot of frauds which has happened. And in fact, a few of the fintech partners are also suffered because of it. So today, believe it or not, there are two identities which we carry, right? One is my physical identity, one is my digital identity. Okay, my digital identity is more prone to fraud because that is being used to validate me, right? Be it Aadhaar ecosystem, be it any voter ID I submit, or offline verifications, whatever I submit, right? How that being verified, that is very important because people are exploiting it. Then in the rural segment also, like there's a lot of impersonation through voter ID. Now with regard to fintech, which I was quoting it's all APIs, right? Today, what is we are doing? And slowly and gradually, I'm into an NBFC, but slowly and gradually we are believing in faster disbursal, right? 2 minutes disbursal, fast. You want to be as adaptability and as close to the bank, right? So the boundaries are slowly and gradually, it's removed, it's going out. Now, since we want to process faster, and that's common with all them, we are not alone. So your APIs are exposed, right? And if someone gets into the credentials, so there was one fintech, the credentials have been theft, and the money has been stolen out. They were looking at the system that their bank account is getting debited in front of them. And they do not know how to react at that point of time, to whom to approach. So this is also one of the problem. Okay, so how secured is your API framework? How you're monitoring that? In the API framework also, there are APIs with the partners, APIs with the bankings. So how you're working on that? So these types of fraud is coming up, and that will cost heavily on your pocket. Now, again, we are talking too much of digital, and we all know that in a bank also there's a 500 crore fraud, right? So that's something. Please don't, in the sake of looking at the digital, our basics are very important. There are various legends sitting over here. Okay, and they know, and I've seen people still sticking to the basics. So it's a hybrid model. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so one is digital, one is this. Impersonation is the biggest risk, biggest risk to identify the customer. Simply relying on the KYC is not going to help us out. Please develop a mechanism around it, how we can authenticate. Even if you're digital, there are n numbers of parameters which we can always think of. Just think and adapt to those. Have a good industry forums like this where we can have such discussions, because it gives us a thought. Okay, to when we speak with all our partners, give us a thought also how we can adapt and how we can explore new things. So that's the take. In the retail assets today, identity theft has become a nuisance, because people sitting earlier, it was my local people around the state were doing it. Now, someone distant looking at the Assam. Earlier it was Jamtara. Now people in the Assam, deep pockets in UP, right? They are in young people, not even completed their bachelors. These people are more skilled in terms of adapting to the technology than we are having with all the certificates, right? So that is a change which is required. But so the trend is impersonation, identity theft. It's going as large. We need to seriously think over it. Okay, the old age trend is still common. It have not gone out. So it's a mix and hybrid procedure which is required by all of us.
Sure. Thanks, Pankaj. So you raised a very important point. Fraudsters are fast. Why they are fast? Because they are collaborating well. They're sharing attack kits. They are sharing playbooks. There are tons of YouTube and Telegram channels explaining how to do frauds. I think it is time people in this room, all the fraud fighters, unite too, and not just across industry or ecosystem. We have to unite internally within our own companies as well. Login can't be a problem of digital teams, or transaction risk can't be just a problem of FRM teams, or device-related frauds can't be problem of IT teams. So we have to break the silos internally also and collaborate faster. That brings me to Sai. Sai, if you can share your experience in a very interesting category, home loan segment. I remember earlier same property used to be pledged multiple times, the old MOs, but any new trends you are seeing?
Good afternoon, everyone. So nowadays, in home loan and mortgage industry, identity theft and fraud is no more a big risk. It is only for an home loan and mortgage industry. Why? Because borrower, co-borrower have been contacted multiple times, right? And we see this borrower, co-borrower identity theft lesser compared to your competitive products and speed products, right? However, we are more relied on multiple third-party vendors. And these third-party vendors, mainly technical and legal validators, verifications, right? Since we are dependent more on them, so there is a probability of errors. This can be an intention or unintentional. Stating so, the new trend, what we are observing in home loan is not on borrower, co-borrower identity theft, but on seller impersonation, right? It is increasing. Why? In a current scenario, seller identification in the process of doing a property transaction, we tend to forget and we tend to validate whether the seller identity which is present in the sale deed and the person who is coming in the register office is the same or not, right? Because these both are two independent verifications. So there has to be a linkage, and this linkage has to be very critical, and AI soft driven any schemes should help in building this gap and raising an anomalies. Similarly, in technical, what I see is nothing but it has to be integrated with both your internal and external databases, right? When you integrate your both internal and external database, example, your geotagging, pin code based or property listing, then it will be easy to validate ascertain the valuation of the property with existing valuation report. This is one of the good tool where ML can help us. And second thing, construction stage, condition of the property, ML can also help by reviewing both internal and external pictures of the property. Right? And we had also seen how ML can help in underwriting. Right? There are so many internal documents database available with us. If this ML can help in reviewing PD reports, then your FI report, RCU report, legal, technical, then take out and disconnects and put into appropriate deviation matrix, then appropriate calls will be taken. Often in industry, everyone knows, due to this month-end skew, we tend to miss. Okay? This ML can help in ensuring the, giving a good, robust system and having a decision. Most importantly is, it's only seller impersonation. I think AI members can help in bridging a gap and bringing a linkage between these two, sale deed, the documents and seller. I think we are done.
Yeah, I think in at least metro cities, more and more property documents are digitized, and I think the need is that tier B and C cities also does the same. Before we move on to the next segment on the kind of data, variables, and emerging data sets which can be used to find these patterns, I would like to open this topic, what we are discussing, trends, to other panel members who have not.
Before that, I just want to add on, Sai.
Sure.
Okay. So we all talking about digital, right? Digitization AI. Okay. I have been to a couple of the cases where fraudsters have prepared the documents, registered it, and they have waited for last 6 years, 7 years. Okay. And they have done it until where the property does not exist at all. Right. So collaborating that is also important. That's what I'm saying. AI is good, but is it reliable?
We can only have a control on
you are
internal
going to
mechanism.
review the documents, signature, registry, you do any fintech, that will exist in records, but the property does not exist in reality. So people are waiting for 6 years, 7 years to create a chain. So please be cognizant of that. It's a hybrid today. I don't know if there's some this a Bitcoin sort of thing or this Bitcoin sort of technology is adapted for properties also. Then probably this can be. But today, the more critical thing is in home loan is to manage whether the property is there or not, right? And whether the ownership is there or not. So good to have tools, but we cannot move the house.
We have seen even cases where SRO people are also convinced with the customer. It is very difficult to catch them. But
In
yes,
fact,
if you are having an internal process strong and awareness culture
So
can
in Maharashtra,
minimize it.
in Maharashtra, there are a lot of news going on. There are some location where the question is going on the registry which has happened. Okay, and we might have funded on those property, right? By looking all the records, all the legal inserts, everything's fine.
Yeah, AI investigating AI. Technology is a double-edged sword anyways.
I just want to add that he was mentioning about the impersonation. Now, in previous times, impersonation was in documents. They were submitting the forged documents. Now, many banks have adopted multi-layer authentication, that Aadhaar OTP, their bank's system OTP. So, multi-layer authentication is there. So, now what fraudsters have started, they have started using the Mule accounts. They are paying some money to the person, and they are using their identity. And by using their identity, they are using those accounts for fraud activities. So you might have
Nice people, they are paying
also, I
something.
think.
Otherwise, there are a lot of meal accounts they didn't pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Sanjay. Mule and digital arrest is two of the biggest problems. Even I found out one of my security guards, he has given his account on rent, and I said the money you are receiving is not your income, it is your bail money. So we have to educate people downstream also, because Mule is becoming a big menace by the day, and I'm sure bankers like Jigar and Mr. Jagannadha will agree that Mule is the pressing problem of today's time.
This is Mr. Rao. Before I speak, I put a disclaimer. Though my name mentioned, I represent Bandhan Bank, but whatever views given by me here is personal, professional, not relates to bank or its customers. With this disclaimer, I'll start my views. Reason, there is a confidentiality, there are privacy laws, there are many other regulatory concerns which restricts us to speak about our customers or about the organization. Therefore, it is required to give a disclaimer before we speak on the stage like this. So, because we are representing a reputed organization, not that we are telling about the organization or organizational issues. It is our professional experience, 30 years experience, worked with various banks, financial institutions, corporate lawyer, handled many things in personal, professional friend. I give my views. Suppose, say, example, Mule accounts he was talking about. In frauds, layering the funds, international funds in India by opening the Mule accounts. So suppose a customers open an account that is fully compliant of KYC, but he will rent it out the account to someone who is his boss. The promoters run the companies with their servants. Servant is the director, say another servant is the managing director. They open the LLP account, so the partners are their servants. They operates the everything professional, everything authentic, but certain accounts are rented. There are a lot of frauds happening either to layer the money to avoid the anti-money laundering laws or to comply with the regulatory guidelines. So, being a banks, we should be careful. We should be systemic. We should have all the things in place. That is one as to Mule accounts. Other general frauds are concerned now. Technology brought a lot of advantages, I can say, by many companies who are put their shops here, brought many applications which will help the organizations to detect the frauds fast by using the AI apps, by using the other technology apps. Suppose earlier, way back, I was talking, I was working with Union Bank. We were doing everything manual. We don't have any computer on my desk. So now everything is through technology. Now even more faster. Even after bringing the AI, it will be more faster. Lot of applications came. Suppose our emails or PDF documents or customers' documents, everything, if they put it in 8 seconds, it will give the report. Out of these documents, 600 documents are doubtful, remaining are clean. The 600 documents are handled by the 6 people. You watch these 6 people. Frequently, these 6 people are connected to this entire 600 documents. So you check about these credentials of these 6 people. That report will be generated. It will be given to the management without knowing to people working in the system. They will check who are these people, whether they have underhand dealings, whether they have a deal in hand. Subsequently, the bill came or invoice came to the organization, the bill is approved or subsequently approved. If they don't approve, whether they are expressing a anger, whether they are expressing a delay, whether they are expressing urgency. These are all points. Thank you, bro. These are the words the system will catch up, automatically will trigger the person. Suppose a person not at all connected to the invoice is marked in the mail frequently, means that person is doubtful. Why that person is marked in the mail who do not have any relation or connection with this transaction? So back end he has done the transaction outside. He boarded his brother-in-law through some vendor in this organization. The money is routing through these invoices by vendors. It is going out through the vendors to the relatives of the employees. So these are all trigger points. The AI or the applications, whatever brought in the system, will help to detect fast the frauds, highlight the things. That is the way the things are evolved in detection of the fraud. And the risk parameters are concerned. Suppose example, either working as employees or the customers or the age-old customers, certain things needs to be looked in. Say example, a transaction is happening midnight, 11:40, 12 o'clock. Normally, everybody sleeps. That time transactions happening. That is one trigger point. The invoices posted, the payments posted Saturdays, holidays, or before the closure of the office, either on Saturday or Friday. So that won't trigger. There are certain parameters that will highlight. So relationship of the parties, suppose frequently they meet in events, frequently they meet somewhere, they appear all 3 people, vendor and the recommending staff and approving authority together appear in many meetings. These are the indications that throw a light that these guys are interconnected, and somewhere there is a fishy that need to be detected. So there are parameters to detect the things. Suppose we are friends, we don't have any issues, but still there is a check on us. We are not corrupted, but still there is a check on us because one is approver, one is a recommending authority, one is a vendor. These three appears frequently in different forums, different places, comes to office or goes to clearing the bill, or recommends, or express anger, or say hi bro. So that way the technology triggers this with these points that to be looked into
So
while handling.
you are alluding to the collusion fraud. The way we saw some of the private banks were taken or scammed due to the collusion frauds between internal and external employees. Agreed, sir. Jigar, do you want to add anything or should we move to that?
Just a couple of points. I think particularly to the problem of mule accounts that as a sector we are facing, one of the key things, and I come from a background where doing maximum investigations which are employee transgressions. So I feel as a sector the pressure that the banking sector is facing in terms of opening of these accounts or maintaining of these saving accounts and term deposits, etc. That is also one of the key points where even if the staff is aware that while opening the account or while conducting the visit, there are certain red flags which are there, and we don't need an AI for that. You go and you don't, these are basics like you don't see the board, you don't see proper business operations which are happening. And at time of account opening, you are saying that the customer is saying we will have 10 crores of transactions in a year. I mean, those red flags don't need a lot of AI, but then we need to train our people that it's okay if you do a little bit less of your targets, but then this is what will harm the organization more in terms of regulatory and other issues. So we may have the best of AI practices, but then the basics like sir was mentioning, specifically with respect to these mule account related issues, I think we should cover. Additionally, I think as a sector, we may also look into stricter action on staff which is identified while, these mule accounts are, when we see a concentration in certain branches or with certain people, it's not just that, you do a regulatory reporting and, in a way that completes the process. You may also, we may also look into as a sector on doing more in terms of action on those employees so that it acts as a deterrent to the organization. I mean, that's...
No, agreed. And that is where a collaboration helps. I'll give you an example. One of the banks shared data with us that 40 accounts were opened, and this was a mule recruiter case from a location in Bombay. And after 1 hour of opening the accounts, these accounts were operated from Ahmedabad. And not one or two, all 40. So we know these patterns very well. That brings me to the next segment, and I'm conscious of the time. Sonal, if you, and you're part of the Vigilance, if you can share with us the data sets or variables you use to identify these scams proactively without impacting customers.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So yes, data is very important, wherein fraud was always there. It is there now. It will be there in future also. So what will help us is the data. As my friend right now said, we are doing KYC. But in KYC, apart from KYC, what we need to also check is the behavior of the customers who we are onboarding. Maybe in KYC, the identity will be something else, the profession will be something else. But when we see the pattern in the accounts going on, that will be something else. More important is that me being from microfinance, what I have seen is fraud risk assessment is very important over here. Because at times, in rural areas, we will not be able to at times implement how the system will work. Because these customers, they are illiterate, they are more on emotions. So here, what helps us is the data, the pattern where these customers are located, the officers who are actually onboarding the customers, their geopolitical tagging, whether the customers are continuously taking the loans, what is the pattern, whether they are pre-closing the loans, whether they are out of town, whether they are actually opening the account at one center and then operating it from separate center. They are saying that, okay, I am not over here, but someone else is making the EMI payment. Over you, as they said, Mule accounts, same way, Mule loans. I mean, they don't take the loan. The loan, what we say, is taken in someone else's name and the money is passed to someone else. So tracking the money and getting it back, being it unsecured, it becomes a problem. So here what we do is, we do the assessment, area assessment, pattern, which area we are having most issues. For example, we can say East is a lot of problem. For example, Bihar, wherein the customers are like, officers just have to cry in front of them and they start actually, taking the complaints back. So this people wherein, apart from AI, the biggest challenge which we also have to look is the intent of the employees who are actually there taking the loan, and what is the pattern which they are actually onboarding the customer. So this is a pattern which we have to take care of apart from the KYC. That is what I would want to say in the data analysis part of identifying scam, and that is the biggest challenge which I feel is today.
Sure, thanks. I think on a lighter note, I was seeing a video where Shah Rukh Khan was applying a micro loan. Somebody deepfaked his personality and his documents. Vijay, do you want to add, you had risk containment unit, any emerging data source which you are considering to find these patterns proactively?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Sanjay has covered in his initial conversation that earlier fraud risk was only limited to identifying who is the potential customer is, and then along with that it was limited to validating the documents, income documents, KYC and all. Still, finding everything genuine, we found in the RCU fraternity, people know that instead of everything being genuine, the cases turned fraud. On the probing of the cases, they turned fraud. So we call it as genuine frauds because every document, every KYC in the file is genuine. Still it is fraud. So where we are missing that? So it is not now, yesteryears, maybe 8-10 years back. So we were missing in studying, as Sonal covered, the behavior of the potential customer, the applicant. So that is where the emerging data is emphasized, and that is actually working right. So now in our company, so I am into affordable housing and lab. So what happens is that now emerging data, we check the consortium of the negative repository and the device intelligence, mobile intelligence. For a use case, say I do crime check background of the applicants. So at times, I mean, the hit ratio is maybe 1 to 1.5%. So we get at least 0.5% cases, such cases wherein the applicants have serious offenses against them, right? So that one thing, and in the device intelligence, especially in the products like fast-moving products like personal loans, consumer durables, and all. So there are so many syndicates people are catching, in the sense the institutions which are into such business, they are catching the syndicates through device intelligence and mobile intelligence, right? Then in the affordable housing, as Sai was saying, in mortgages and all, we do check lot of use a lot of geospatial, right? Geo coordinates, the images, geo images. So that is one thing which has very instrumental in preventing frauds, especially in the affordable housing and mortgages, LAP. So wherein what we do is that we even both at the collateral side as well as the profile side, if the customer has come to us as a SENP, that is self-employed non-professional, and he has shown us a picture of his business where he has mentioned his name, number, everything, business board name and all. So we check the satellite images of, take out the satellite images of that, which may be of 25, 23. But customer has said that he is running the business from last 10 years. And the name on the name on the application and the name on the geo coordinates, what we have taken the images, is totally different. And the further proves that the customer, the details what applicant has given us belongs to his friend. Just to avail the loan, he has posed his friend's shop as his own. So as far as this property is concerned, he has already covered it. We take out the property pictures and match the geo coordinates, and we come to a conclusion. Yes, definitely. I mean, the emerging data is the data where one can rely and prevent frauds. As Pankaj was telling that agility, our fraudsters' agility is more than us. That is, let us say that is because they don't have to take approvals. So if you want to be agile to any technology, you have to take approvals of budget, or deployment, all that. So that is one thing. So emerging data, yes, emerging data is the need of the day.
Thanks, Vijay. So two important things.
Sorry, just to add on it, just recently I even saw a reel, I mean, wherein they actually said they have training on how to do fraud. The fraudsters are together, they train together how we have to fraud. Same way, we as all the organizations, we as all the fraud fighters have to come together and consolidate the data. I mean, I'm sure this thing will help us to the fraud, with the fraudsters, like how they are imaging, they are united, we need to be united, our data should be, aligned and consolidated. So it helps each and every organization over here. That is how powerful data is.
Thanks, Sonal, for reaffirming that point. So two important things. One is silent checks. We can't tell all our checks and balances to fraudsters and expect them not to break it. We told them how do we do KYC, VKYC, CKYC, OTP-based checks, and they found every way to break it. Second is emerging data sources. Sonal spoke about consortium data, cross-industry collaboration, creating a data set of fraudsters, things like that. Sorry. Government has done its bit. We have FRI checks, CCRP, cybercrime reporting portal, I4C checks, MNRL checks. There are alternate data available today, and we use that a lot for mule detection. Behind a name and number, how do you identify patterns? Most of the fraud patterns are similar. They will have one payment app, one social app, typically where the numbers will be registered because you need to con the customers and have a payment app to make them pay for it. So life is all about patterns. Early we saw Mr. Rao talking about the legal patterns, and he started with the disclaimer, and that is a pattern you'll find with every legal person. So you'll find patterns in everything. How do you use these technologies to figure out these patterns? New age signals, device, location, behavior, profile. These are very important signals silently to understand if there is any anomaly. You create a baseline, detect the anomalies. Where do I transact from? When do I transact from? Which device I use to transact from? What time of the day I use to transact from? Is my location same? Once you identified a baseline, created a baseline, and then you see anomaly, you can raise flags for FRM teams to then go and investigate in case of suspicious activities. That brings me to my next topic. Again, in interest of time, Jigar, if you can quickly help us understand how AI can help in investigation using unstructured data, and then we'll take, Mr. Rao, your inputs also on the same.
Sure. So in the banking sector, if you see, and especially, in my role as a part of the vigilance team, at least 70 to 80% of the data is in unstructured form, whether it be, say, CCTV or, say, emails or invoices or KYC documents. A lot of these checks, which are important from building the overall story of an investigation, these are in unstructured form. So while the structured data, will tell you what fraud event has happened, the why and the modus which needs to be stitched out to bring out the overall story of the fraud event, that is where unstructured data becomes very, very critical. Now coming to the point, although all this data is there, but realistically using it, with the team sizes that we have, with the current infrastructure that we have, that the different data sets which are, in some or the other way disintegrated, using it to stitch that story which I was telling is something which we face as a challenge. I think that is where AI can definitely help us. Again, if you say, where we can use AI especially for unstructured data, I look at it into two lenses. One is the idealistic state where you have the best in case tools, you have the best AI agents working for you, you have seamless integration across different systems that you use. In such cases, then you can use AI where right from formulating a work plan or the work streams which you want to do in an investigation to the scenarios which you want to build, the data sets that you want, doing those analysis, bringing you actionable insights, drafting certain reports, in some or the other way acting as a junior investigator for you. That's the ideal state, or that's the state where we will evolve, I feel, eventually. However, realistically, if we see the current infrastructure that we have, the budgetary constraints that we have, because not everybody will get those type of, there are all the tools in the world which can do all the things in the world, but then you need to have those type of infrastructure or support in terms of investigations. I think realistically the point which we can focus on right now is focused end use. For certain parts of the investigation, for example, if you take a procurement related fraud which you are investigating, you can definitely use AI for analysis of the procurement data, whether it be 5 years, 10 years, and which would have taken you manually quite a bit of time. That AI can help you, in terms of implementing the scenarios which you have thought of, giving you actionable, red flag indicator transactions. In continuation with that, in most of the cases where, there is a lot of document review involved, although you may have the best of OCR tools, etc., but then pattern indication was always a challenge. Now with the, with AI tools available, I think that part of the investigation you can definitely use and identify, and you just tell the AI tool what type of patterns you are looking for, what are the anomalies which you are looking for, and then it will help you in some or the other way in identification. And what was restricted to say 5, 10, 50 samples, you can do that for 500 samples, 1000 samples. There is no restriction in when you are using such type of tools. I think that's one definite good use case. In addition to that, I think, like I said, email reviews also form part, or the chat recordings, or the transcripts of call records, etc. That also, as a different AI tools which are available, that as a basic usability, we can implement that even with the tools that are available currently in our organizations. I think to conclude, more or less, rather than going immediately for a full automation or the overall part, the idealistic part, the more practical way is to find out different separate avenues where you can use AI, like the ones that I mentioned, and then try to integrate them or build upon them, and give a proper investigative report which is based on AI. What I feel, to conclude is, it's not that the AI will take away the judgment part. It's just that AI will help you in designing those scenarios, in implementing those scenarios, the 30, 40, 50% of the time which was more into filling all those trackers or filling all those templates which was going in an investigation. That I think AI will help, as any investigator in this field.
Sure, thanks, Jigar. So GraphDB tools, neural networks, graph networks, identifying fraud rings and from tons of data, scanning tons of data. You have these new age tools which can help, and AI can certainly help in these things. L1 to L6 correlations, we find singular PAN used for opening multiple accounts, 40, 50 accounts in one go. All that is possible now with AIML, but Jagannadha ji, if you can quickly
I'll
add.
add a few things. See, one is investigation, fraud investigation, data analytics. So 80% of data relied either basis of the emails or invoices or the PDF documents or voice notes or call registers. Suppose if you are sitting at a desk, whatever work is happening either by speaking or using your laptop or using different other methods, those data is the data derived to analyze, to detect the frauds in sum and substance. One. Second thing, bringing the analysis or investigation through AI. So earlier it was a tough, difficult task to assimilate and correlate and bring it to one place. But these tools made it simple and easy, and it transformed a lot to investigate the overall activities, what they wanted to drive in. Different models like AI have finding the anomalies. Anomalies have a different model, and the other areas of detection like physical checking is required to visit the customer. Those are comes under the 20% investigations. Not that it is a full-fledged investigation which is derived through AI by using the 80% data. Still, it need to be rechecked before confirming anything they wanted to confirm this is the fraud or not fraud, or this investigation is foolproof or have the basis, have a conclusive evidence or corroborative evidence or circumstantial evidence or primary, secondary evidence. So these are all needs to be relied basis of the internal evaluation and external evaluation and judgment of the people. So though the data is used and a report is generated, that is not a conclusive proof. That need to be considered, number one. Number two, the data is like just like you imagine a fingerprint. Suppose a fingerprint expert is the data, and dust put over there to catch the fingerprints. So that is the way the AI is used. You correlate the dust is used to catch the fingerprints on a particular investigation is the data, as well as the AI is the tool which catches by using the dust. Suppose a glass particularly, they put some powder or something so that the catches automatic fingerprints are captured there. Subsequently in investigation they will find. So similar way we have to differentiate the data and the AI. So the modern changes it will grasp quickly by using different tools. So while handling the customers, they adopt different tactics to cheat the banks. The bankers or the staff should be vigilant, and they should guide their customers, they should guide their staff, train their staff and train their customers so that they will protect the banking assets as well as it will safeguard the public interest also. So the data analysis plays a critical role in investigation. So while handling the data, we should be careful. We should not be conclusive in all the time. It should have a basis.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Rao. That brings to the end. I understand we have to use plethora of signals, not one signal, two signal. It is to stay ahead of the curve, device, behavior, location, profile, then create models basis supervised data sets, create those functionalities to find the patterns, not only investigate but try to prevent frauds, because we are moving from detection to prevention. Detection was our earlier training. Now we have to move to prevention. I'd like to open now for any questions to the esteemed panel for many of the members.
One thing more, since a disclaimer has been given by him, there's a disclaimer also for the AI. It's not a replacement. If you are using AI, use a manpower to see if the AI is working fine.
It's just an assistant.
Yeah. AI also hallucinates. Okay, even in BRE, you are doing a lot of back check. Same way, AI, please keep back check on. You never know what could be the output, which you might not be even aware of. Okay, so that's a disclaimer from the fraud risk fraternity.
Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for this wonderful panel who enlightened all of us in the last 50 minutes. Very, very insightful discussions. Big congratulations to all the panel members for a successful panel. Special thanks to Mr. Modi for wonderfully moderating this panel of experts in full house audience scenario. And now I would like to call on stage, I would request the panel members to kindly be on stage. And I would like to call Mr. Anurag Anand from TransUnion Indus. Anurag ji, if you could kindly come and do the honors of felicitating our expert panel here. Please come, Anurag ji. We'll start first with Mr. Pankaj Mohta from SMFG India Credit. Sir, if you could step forward. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to Pankaj ji for his valuable insights in the panel. Moving next to Ms. Sonal Yadav from RBL Finserve Limited. A big round of applause to Sonal ma'am for her wonderful insights in the panel session. Moving next to Mr. Jigar Ved from IndusInd Bank. A big round of applause to Jigar ji for wonderfully contributing in the panel. Moving next to Mr. Chatla Sai Prashanth from Truhome Finance. A big round of applause to Mr. Prashanth for his wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Mr. Vijay Malagar from Tyger Capital. A big round of applause to Mr. Malagar for wonderfully contributing in the panel. Moving next to Mr. Sanjay Bhagwat from Shriram Finance Limited. A big round of applause to Mr. Bhagwat for wonderfully contributing on the panel session. Moving next to Mr. Jagannadha Rao S. from Bandhan Bank. A big round of applause to Jagannadha sir for wonderfully contributing in the panel session. And now our honorable panel moderator, Mr. Parag Modi from Bureau.
Fellow panelists, for an interesting session. Sorry we couldn't take question and answers, but we all are here. In case you have any questions, feel free to walk to us. Thank you.
A big round of applause to Parag ji for not just wonderfully moderating this great panel, but also for his own valuable insights. Honorable panel members, I would request you to kindly step forward for a group photograph. And Parag ji, please join them. And Anurag, if you could also join them.